this computer. Okay, all right, welcome. It is July 3rd, the day before the 4th. I can do my math. And so I want to wish everyone a celebration for the 4th of July. And thank you for being on. This is Mindset Monday. And I don't know about anybody, but I know, let's celebrate. We're here. And if you're watching the recording, we appreciate it. So I don't know about anybody else, but I have been fighting with major distractions lately. Distractions that I have no rhyme or reason for. I can't figure them out. I don't know where they're coming from. So, I did a little exercise and I wanted to share it with you. And I hope you have a pencil and paper close by. Because what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little mini session on relationships and how those relationships can go really down the tube with distractions, and how we can reel in those distractions when we refer to the gratitude of those relationships. So what I'd like you to do is, on a piece of paper, make 3 subheadings. And those subheadings are going to be relationship. The next subheading will be gratitude. And I should have a graphic for this, but I'm not good with that stuff. And then the next to that, or across from that, will be distractions. And at your leisure, you can add as many relationships as you want once we're done with this, but we're going to focus on 3 major relationships. So under the first heading, put in 3 major relationships that are important to you. Under gratitude, which should be the next category, in just a few words, and don't make it long sentences, but in a couple of words, or maybe 3 words the most, just put what you are grateful for that relationship, or what joy that relationship gives you. And the last one under distractions are, what recently in those relationships were the major distractions that took your joy or took your gratitude away from that relationship? If you have room on that particular paper, or you may want to start another, or you want to flip it over, you may want to start another paper. But under your distractions, I want you to write down what you were feeling in that moment of distraction for that relationship? What were you feeling? What were your emotions? What stories were going on in your head? And your mood. And a question to ask yourself when you're being distracted or when a distraction comes up. Is the distraction associated with a disappointment or discouragement?
Judy, can you repeat that one more time, that question?
Is the distraction associated with a discouragement or a disappointment?
Thank you.
Okay. I have to write it down myself all of a sudden. I got distracted. We'll discuss this if you'd like, but if you take the relationship and you take the gratitude and you take the distraction, if you take a moment to check in with the distraction and give it a little bit of attention and kind of own it, if you digest it a little bit and know that you can choose to not give the distraction power, then you can eliminate, then because you're not giving it power to kind of guide you to be more distracted, you can flip that and go back to your gratitude, because there's something about not giving it power that it frees you. It's kind of like forgiveness. You know, once you decide to forgive somebody, it's almost like you get over it and you move on. It's like once you decide to give your distraction the freedom to just be, then you have a little bit more of your energy to go back to your gratitude. And once you go back to your gratitude, it can get you in the right place with your relationship. Does any of that make sense? Okay, so if you want to give an example, you know, for others to help out, because that's just really as far as I want to go, because I can get really deep with this and get off, you know, but the thing about it is we have to understand that distractions, and they generally, I find experience-wise, they generally come from a disappointment or something that I'm not seeing that needs to go my way. So for me, and sometimes the distraction is my pride gets in the way. you know, what I think should be done, or how I think, like with my husband can't read my mind. We've been married for 47 years now, and he hasn't been able to read my mind. And because I feel that he should be able to read my mind, I generally get disappointed and I get distracted from that. But when I understand and I accept the fact that he is who he is, and I am grateful for who he is, because he puts me in, he aligns me, you know, like he's good, he gives me good advice, he's got my back. So I go back to my gratitude, which puts me back into my relationship. So that's kind of an example. And we can do that with every relationship. I just chose, there are three, I'm like a Holy Spirit person, there's three people and one God. So I always go to three, but you can do this with any relationship, because when we get distracted, I find it's because I'm disappointed with something.
Okay, I'm LPT, but.
And sometimes it's my time, like I don't have enough time, sometimes it's just a matter of stopping and prioritizing time. And other times it's a matter of stopping and realizing that where is your disappointment coming from, or where is the discouragement coming from, and just kind of sifting through it and allowing it to just, don't give it power, just know it's there, and then move back into your gratitude, and your gratitude will give you into the right relationship, or a healthy relationship with that important one. Does that make any sense? Okay, that's all I got. So, and we can do that with our business. I mean, the other thing is when we look at our business as a relationship, our business and the people that we have business with and want to change lives, why are we, so what's the gratitude for our business? There are multiple avenues of gratitude for our business. Okay, so what is the distraction, that keeps us in a grateful state for the relationships in our business? You can do the same thing for your business. And that might be like under the distractions, disappointments, there's several categories you can put in there, distractions, time, family, responsibilities, errands, those things. You could make a whole category of things that will cause you to be distracted, and then the disappointments of that, so you can really break it down.
It's funny, Judy, that you had gone in and said emotions, feelings later, because when I wrote down my first distractions, I put down my feelings, like frustrations, miscommunication, sometimes feeling misunderstood. So for me, that's my distraction. But I think recognizing that, so that you can say, yeah, you're putting this pin in it. Okay, I see it, I recognize it, but turning that around, like you said, and making it into gratitude is a game changer.
Yeah, it can be. And generally those disappointments and come from stories that we tell. They're stories out of emotions, reactions, that we don't give value to, because those emotions are very valuable. And once we say, yes, you're valuable, yes, I'm acknowledging you, but you're not going to own the gratitude. Once we don't acknowledge them and we just kind of stuff them down, then eventually the gratitude is sucked into, or the positive part about that relationship. So I have
and it doesn't own that relationship either.
Right. Right. I have no clinical background. By the way, I am not a therapist. I have no clinical background. So so scientifically, I can't base any of this. I'm just going on experience. That's all. So yeah, but that's great. I mean, and I think especially when we get wrapped up in our business and changing lives. I mean, I had a wonderful, I went to an event and I had a woman come over to me who had a skincare line, and she was interested in what I had and the fact that I had skincare. I shouldn't have been there because she had, anyways. So we had a really good exchange, and she asked about the pre and probiotics, and she was curious about that. And we connected, we got emails, and she asked if I had samples, and I said, I don't, but I can let you borrow my skincare. So she said, okay. So I called her, and she was, I could sense that she was a little reluctant, but she said, okay, I'll try it. And following up with her in a couple of days, she said she needed a heavier moisturizer and she doesn't do serums and things like that. And that got me distracted because I knew what she was using was not as good of a quality, but I also didn't want to damage the start of a relationship and a friendship. So I really had to reel in my emotions and not be salesy, and just respect the fact that she said, I like my skincare, and I had to not let that overpower creating a friendship, and it may just be a friendship and not a business relationship. So I think, though, for me, that was a lesson learned, and I don't know if anyone's ever had something like that, but yeah. Anyone else that, and this is being recorded, so anything that we can help, others learn from is always good.
I just have to say today, I'm a little tired right now because I had PT, and then I did all of my habits today for the first time since before May 23rd.
Excellent. Wow.
And I asked a lot of people about, hosting and, just to talk about what options they have. And it's just, I think July has always been a great month to get new parties going, and, and I can only host at home or do a Facebook party. So right now, but that's okay. I'll do whatever I can do.
Right. And there's a lot, and there's probably, there's emotions going on, there's feelings going on, plus you have physical challenges, which affects our thought process, and sometimes it's just, for me, sometimes it's getting away from the business, or getting away from a particular relationship to get the gratitude back. You got to step back,
Well, this
Give
is the
it
first
space.
time that that I've joined anything.
Yes. In weeks.
In weeks. And
Mhm.
I know I needed it, because even though, I'm still doing some stuff a little bit at a time, slowly, it's just, I know I needed to get my mind set on the fact that I still own a business and I still need to work it. I only had 400 and change of sales, but my downline had tons of sales. So that helped me in June, but I really want to get back up to ambassador level. And like Jen and Gina and everybody, so I'm working on it. And I think that coming to Mindset Monday always helps me no matter what. And this is really, really helpful because my feelings and emotions are all over the place right now. And, but, I had to say, my granddaughter got her license so she could drive by herself.
Wow.
guess where the first place she went on her solo drive?
To
She
see
came to
you.
visit me, yeah. And that was like, it
That's
just,
so sweet.
it just brought me
Mhm.
so much joy. And it was only a short visit, and it was wonderful.
Mhm.
Um,
Wow. Thank you
and
for
I just,
sharing that, because I think people need to hear that sometimes it's gratitude that we're not even aware
mhm.
that's going to happen.
And I don't see her a lot, and I
Mhm.
can't go to her games.
Yeah.
So just having her do that, it just filled me. It was like she made my day.
Yeah.
So it was just
Oh,
wonderful.
thank you. Rose, you were going to say something?
Oh, I don't even know what I was going to say now, but it was so good. That was so good, Michelle. I mean, maybe I was going to say, Michelle, you feel like right now you can only do, those things at home, but I still have people that maybe live in this town and they don't want to do it in person. So you know what? I'm going to meet them where they are, and we're going to try to do like a virtual gathering, because sometimes I think when we put it on the box and we're like, yeah, that's not ideal. And being at home and having to do your business and not feeling well, it's not ideal. But
Mhm.
that's the beauty of the business and the
Right.
gratitude that we have for this business, that we can fit it in the nooks and crannies and make it work for whatever we're going through. And I think that that's a positive. Like you're saying, Judy, bring it back to the gratitude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have 3 people that have been putting me off for months about parties, and this is the perfect time. And I forgot, I mean, with all that was going on with my getting the infection, I forgot to set up this person's Facebook party for a week. We were going to do a Facebook party, and I'm so glad I did, because it's July and it's double toast rewards. And I'm like, I felt so bad. But I do need her to go see her and get a haircut because my hair is a mess. Um, it was like, I'm so glad that I did, because she can get more.
Mhm.
And there's so many host rewards things that it's just, that's what I love about this company, that they really give back to the people who want to host parties, that want to do this business. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Anyone else? Okay. All righty. I think that's it. That's really all I had. The thing to be mindful of when you're looking at your distractions is the stories that you're telling yourself that have, oh, thanks, that have no support. There's no data that can support the story. So it doesn't hold any weight, And then what happens is that starts to snowball into a distraction. So to catch it before it happens. Okay. And we tell ourselves a lot of stories, basically. Yeah. So just be mindful of that. All righty.
Thank you,
And
Judy. This was
you're welcome.
awesome.
Oh, you're
Really.
welcome. I'm glad. I'm going to stop recording
Lots of notes.
if I can do that. Pause or stop.